What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as that Star Wars girl, and today I'm going to be talking about something that is usually one of my favorite things, which is Barbies. I grew up playing with Barbies. I was a huge Barbie fan as a little girl. I still have a lot of Barbies that I've collected over the years, and they're not behind me, they're in front of me, but I've always been a huge Barbie fan. I even got to go to Mattel for the 60th anniversary of Barbie for, their South American event. I was working at it. My colleagues and I got hired as private contractors to go in and draw at the event, and I was the videographer at the event, and it was a lot of fun, and it was so special to be able to be included in that and to be at, the place where Barbie is created. And, a week or two ago, I did a video about the crazy wokeness that Hasbro has decided to embrace, which was Miss Monopoly, making a game that was for everyone, that was gender neutral, but now saying this is for girls. Girls have never done anything in the history of humanity aside from being in the kitchen and looking pretty for when, they're movie stars on, the theater stage. And that's all women have accomplished in, the entire history of humanity. And so it was up to Hasbro to make this board game, reboot this board game that never needed to be rebooted, that never needed to be redesigned like this ever. They decided to do that and do Miss Monopoly, and it's going to, have more benefits for the female players. Is that fair? Absolutely not. It was the marketing that they, trying to use children that were talking about inventions that were basically just, glorified science projects that were things that had already been invented. But you know what? That was Hasbro, and I made the mistake in that video of saying, for some reason in my mind, because when I think about toys, I usually generally do think about Mattel. I said Mattel, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I was wrong. Thank goodness it was Hasbro. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Mattel. But then Mattel's like, you know what? Hold my beer. Because we're coming out with this new gender-neutral Barbie. Now, I have so much to say about this because, like I said, I am a huge Barbie fan. I always have been, probably always will be. You could ask my parents about how I freaked out over my Barbies when I was little, how I had, every single one I could get my hands on, and, how I'm a grown-up. I'm a grown-up, and I still have Barbies. In my last P.O. Box opening, I opened up the David Bowie Barbie that they released, which I still have a few complaints on. But anyway, there is a video that Mattel released about this new gender-neutral line of Barbies. We are going to go watch that and just see how crazy it is. So I'm going to go watch that, do a reaction, and then after we are going to talk about it and, give my full 2 cents on the matter. So let's go check this video out. Alright everyone, so I have this video pulled up, and this whole campaign that Mattel is doing is called A Doll for Everyone. Meet Mattel's gender-neutral doll. How the brand behind Barbie is planning to redefine stereotypes with a doll for children, regardless of gender. That's already what it was. You had Barbie, you had Ken, you had Kelly, you had Skipper, you had all these different types of Barbies, because then they made them in all different shapes, colors, sizes, and you can go ask Mattel, how did that line come out that had, petite Barbies, tall Barbies, plus size Barbies? How did those go? Oh, you mean that they all, kind of went on sale and didn't sell well? Wow, big freaking shocker, because kids do not care about this type of stuff. They don't. I think the biggest concern that a kid has when getting a doll was, what costume is it going to be? And that was the big drive for me. All the Barbies, they generally pretty much look the same. Which one had this dress? Which one had this astronaut costume? Was it dressed up like a Star Wars character? That's the big thing that, really, at least for me, when I was a kid, it was like, that's why you want to get that new Barbie, because the doll is the exact same. Well, sometimes there's a little bit of differences, but you want the new outfit, you want the new costume for your Barbie so they can be this new character. That was one of the big things about Barbie. When you are a child, kids don't care about the stuff that us grown-ups care about. Well, I don't care about this stuff. I don't care about this, let's go try to be gender neutral, let's go try to do this. No, you got Barbie, you got Ken, you got Kelly, you got Skipper, you got all these other different types of Barbies. Heck, now they make Captain Kirk Barbie, they made Mr. Spock Barbie, they made a horror Barbie, they made a David Bowie Barbie, they made a Barbie for every single princess from every single country. Doesn't matter. Kids don't care if it's gender neutral. They just want something to play with. But you know what? Who am I to say? I was just a kid that played with Barbies every single day of my childhood. But let's see what these people have to say about it.
Kids right now, especially Gen Alpha kids, which are kids under the age of 10, they see gender very differently. They experience gender very differently.
It's a perfect time to introduce this new doll line that is truly gender neutral.
Introducing Creatable World, a doll line designed to keep labels out and invite everyone in.
It's dress up.
The whole objective of this doll is eliminating all the adult labels that we put on it.
That's what you're doing.
From the kids, they did not want their toys to be labeled.
Oh my God.
They don't want rules set around their play. And what we heard from parents was an increasing concern about genderizing toys.
What
This will be really challenging for a population of people. We will challenge people's points of view about how they think boys and girls should play.
Nobody cares the way children play. Kids play. Boys like to play with Legos.
It's so funny. Parents often tell me that they want to raise their boys to be really wonderful fathers. How do we expect to raise wonderful, nurturing fathers if we don't encourage nurturing play when they're boys?
So you're saying that there's never been any
So Barbie was created 60 years ago.
Wow. My father was
The
amazing.
benefits of playing with dolls, interestingly, has not changed throughout the decades. It's always been about storytelling and imagination, self-expression.
And the one that I got, it looked just like me. It looked cool. Yeah.
It's important that kids of all different types can see themselves reflected in culture and media, and especially in the toys that they play with. We are welcoming all kids to play with it, and they're in charge of the stories that they want to tell and the characters that they want to create.
What did I say? Costumes.
That is a powerful
costumes,
thing for a child.
Look at that.
Like
Kids,
how
they just want to play dress up. That's one of the best things about playing with the doll.
And it can be this to this.
There you go. That's all they care about.
Wait, let me get my sister.
In creating this doll, what's important was the gender neutrality of the body. We worked a lot in the shape of the face, a clean, youthful, no makeup face. We have options for short hair or long hair. And then even stepping into the accessories and the clothes that come, everything from jeans to skirts to tennis shoes, and a palette of colors that are welcoming to all. Anytime you're doing something new and different, it's challenging. But that's part of the process, and it's actually amazing for a designer to come up against things that make us maybe question our own direction.
The first iteration was a little bit more feminine with the sequins, the skirt. After research and testing, we evolved from the design of the clothing and the toy to be more gender inclusive. For example, the waistband on these pants, once you remove it, the way it looks is fairly feminine. But with the waistband, it looks a little bit more gender neutral.
I would disagree. I think that
In the design of the dolls, we went on this big exploration throughout the United States. So we went to 250 families. A lot of parents knew that this is the wave of the future. This is where society is heading, and they want to be.
But you have to think about it. The people that volunteer to do this kind of stuff are going in with a certain mindset. And I know I should have been pausing as I talk through this, but this is just ridiculous. So far, I have heard, this is exactly what I said before the video started. Dress up. That's one of the biggest things. You want to go buy the new doll because it has a new costume and new clothes. You can take the clothes off of your Barbie. You put new clothes on. That's one of the fun things about Barbies. I know because I fucking played with a Barbie. I played with thousands of Barbies. That's what's fun. To me, the thing that I think is cool, the only thing that I think that's cool about this is that you get to take the hair. You get the doll with short hair, but then you get a wig to make it have long hair. The thing that makes me want, like, if I was a kid, what I would do, I'd want to get every single different one so you could do every single different hair combination. And that's one of the things that little girls, and I never found a little boy that would play Barbies with me willingly. Never in my freaking life did I ever have that experience. But I understand that there are kids out there, just because I grew up in a small town and I never encountered that in my childhood. I understand that they're still out there. But one of the things that me and my friends that we did play with Barbies, we like to do, let's, switch up the costumes. And yes, every single kid that played with a Barbie is guilty of doing this. You cut your Barbie's hair because we're kids. We don't know any better. And then, Barbie, it's not like human hair where, you have roots and stuff. Well, they have roots, but it's not like ours. It's literally like just little holes over their head. So then they ended up looking, they have these weird little spiky haircuts. So getting wigs for your Barbies is a great idea. I don't know why Mattel hasn't done this before. That's great. Even when you see here on YouTube, doll repainters that take dolls like the ones that Mattel put out, and Monster High dolls, and they repaint their faces. They make wigs for the dolls. That's something that I feel like is an accessory pack that Mattel should have released years ago, because I don't know a single kid or a single person that I've ever talked to that has played with the Barbie. Not a single one of them has ever said, oh, when I never cut off my Barbie's hair. Every single kid that played with Barbie has cut off their Barbie's hair. Those kids, you give them a pair of scissors, or you leave them in a house, not in a little set that you're filming them in, which is kind of creepy. You let them in a house. Guess what? They're gonna draw on the dolls. They're gonna get nail polish on the dolls, painting their dolls' fingernails. They're gonna get the scissors. They're gonna cut the Barbie's hair. That little girl that said, oh, this Barbie, it looks, I'm assuming, I don't know if that was a little boy or a little girl. I thought it was a little girl from the earrings. But anyway, that little girl, oh, it looks like me. Hey, I had the exact same freaking reaction when I saw the Darth Vader Barbie. I was like, holy crap. First time in my life a Barbie doll looks like me. And, it's a Darth Vader Barbie doll. It's the coolest thing ever. Again, I'm not saying, oh, it's, yeah, I like the hair, but the costume is what makes it. So all they're doing is, here's a doll that you can switch up. Here's a different hair, here's different clothing, and gender neutral. Why don't you do it why don't you come out with theme sets? Here's a wizard pack. Kids like Harry Potter. Here's a Star Wars pack. Here's all the different combinations you can have. You can be a Jedi. You can be a Stormtrooper. You can be Darth Vader. You can be Princess Leia. Here's the pack. Here's a Barbie that it's a kid. Think about that. When you have little kids, there's not much difference, physically and, facial features to most part. So a majority of that, kids, I know some people that, they mistake babies. Oh, what a cute little boy, when it's like, oh, it's a little girl, It's easier when they're kids, and if you're making a doll like that, heck, a majority of the dolls that they made, back before they had all this crazy technology for, doing 3D modeling and doing, the printing of that and having it, look very realistic. It's a very, neutral face. It's like, here, human. Exhibit A, human. There you go. And then you put a wig on it, it's a boy. You put a long hair wig on it, it's a girl. You put a dress on it, it's a girl. There you go. Just do that. Do packs like that where, okay, yeah, gender neutral. So just say it's human doll. And then the way that you dress it up, that's what character you're going to be. So it's a doll that can become any character. Have it be like the shapeshifter line. And it's cool. Oh my gosh, little kids, it's like a shapeshifter line. You can become any character you want to be. And then here's this pack. Here's this pack. Here's this pack. What kids like Fortnite. Here's the Fortnite pack. Here's the Gremlins pack. And I want to go through every single, movie from my childhood. Here's the Goonies, but I guess nowadays kids like Stranger Things. So here's the Stranger, even if parents don't like their kids to watch Stranger Things. But here's the Jim Henson ones. You can be your kid can dress up like any kind of Muppet. That would be cool. But why are they limiting themselves to just here, oh, it's a gender neutral Barbie. Let's go woke, guys. Hasbro, hold my beer. I'm gonna one-up you on this one. Here we go. Let's do gender neutral Barbies, because everyone is worried about representation now. That's exactly what they're doing. And it's you could do this so in a way that would be cool, that would work, that wouldn't be, let's get woke, go broke type of thing, and it would actually make you money. Because I guarantee you, when I was a kid, and, this goes for, kids that I still interact with, the kids are going to go for the thing that's the coolest. When I called up my nieces and I'm like, hey, what kind of Barbie do you want? Like, I'm gonna get you something for, Christmas. What do you want? I want the new rainbow butterfly Barbie where she's got wings that when you push the button they start flying off. And it's like, okay, so you want the cool one. You don't want the Barbie doctor. You want the one that's getting advertised on TV that has, this new cool shiny new feature. Kids like things that are cool, that do something fun. This is, okay, oh, cool. Like the coolest thing about this is you get to change the Barbie's hair. Great. We get to change the Barbie's hair. That's something that I think they should have been doing for a long time now with, kids. This is geared at children, remind you, everyone. Not their woke parents. This is aimed at children that don't give a shit about any of this. They don't. All they want to do a Disney line. I can't. I'm pretty sure Mattel has some of the rights to Disney. I'm pretty sure they can work something out with Disney. Here's the Disney princess line. Here's this one doll that, you can become this many of the Disney princesses. You don't want to choose between Snow White, Cinderella, and Sleeping Beauty? Well, guess what? Here's a doll that you have every single wig for each hairstyle, and you have every dress for each one. You can be all of those. You want to be Peter Pan? You want to be, what's it, Aladdin? You want to be Peter Pan? Aladdin, Prince Naveen, here you go. Here's the doll that can do all of those. There you go. Do you know how much money they would make on that? Because then parents would see, oh, it's like 3 dolls in one. That's a great deal. And it's probably, maybe like $30, maybe? Okay, so it's like $10 per doll. That's something that will, parents, when they're shopping, they're going to think, how do I get the most for my buck? When, I have a kid, it's probably going to break. It's not going to stay in perfect condition because nothing that you buy children is ever going to stay in perfect condition. So why don't I get the most for my money? This is $3 in one, $30, so it's like $10 per doll. Great deal. Probably be on sale around Christmas time too. So good. There you go. And then, Marvel's a big thing now. Here's a doll. Here's, it could be a little boy or a gender-neutral human doll. It could be Iron Man, Captain America, or, Hawkeye. It could be Thor. One of those. Just have every single costume and it has a wig for every single hairstyle. This is a great idea. Why don't you do it? But no, instead you're more worried about your woke politics. This is ridiculous. And I still have like a minute left of this video.
Be a board on it. They just don't have the tools or the knowledge to kind of guide their child. What we found is that most of the kids are guiding the conversation anyway.
Wait. Let me go back.
The knowledge to kind of families. A lot of gender neutral. And the design of the dolls, we went on this big exploration throughout the United States. So we went to 250 families.
And woke families.
A lot of parents knew that this is the wave of the future. This is where society is heading, and they want to be on board on it. So they just don't have the tools or the knowledge to kind of guide their child. What we found is that most of the kids are guiding the conversation anyway.
Yes, kids want to play
We
dress
know
up.
what happens when kids feel limitations or we place limitations on a child's identity.
Oh my
I imagine that a lot of people are going to be so delighted and relieved to have dolls that they could present to their kids that look like them or could look like their friends or could open up more possibilities
Dress
for their
up.
play. And I imagine that this will be really challenging for a population of people. This conversation around gender and doll play, I don't expect it to be easy, but I know it's important. And I believe that a company like Mattel taking the risk to have this conversation is important.
Not even gonna lie to you guys, I had that haircut of that last Barbie. Not the long haircut, what the hell? No. Well, that was absolutely ridiculous. And, when I saw this article and this story come out a few days ago, I was like, oh, great, here we go again. But it's like, come on. This basically... This is Mattel saying, well, there's never been a good dad before. So before, we taught, that we need little boys. How do we expect little boys to grow up to be loving, nurturing fathers? Which apparently that's never existed in the history of humanity, that we've never had nurturing fathers. Apparently my father doesn't exist to them. Apparently they never watched the movie Father the Fucking Bride, because in that movie, that's, one of my favorite movies, because my mom always says it. She's like, you just love that movie because he's such a good dad. I'm like, yeah, I do like that movie because he's a good dad. He's a great dad. My dad is the best daddy in the entire world, but I like seeing how great this dad is in this movie too. But still, apparently, my dad doesn't count. Apparently Steve Martin in that movie doesn't count. Apparently in any of the movies where Steve Martin's amazing father, those movies don't count because they didn't play with this gender-neutral Barbie. Wow. And then, it's just... Okay, so the kids need to be able to identify themselves. Do you not know how many kids just wear costumes for years? That's what I did. I wore a Cinderella dress for 3 freaking years. I identified as Cinderella for 3 years. I would scream, my lungs off if my parents tried to change me out of the Cinderella dress because I wanted to wear that Cinderella dress, partially because, my mom hacked off all my hair so I looked like a little boy, and I wanted everyone to understand the fact that I was a little girl. So, yeah. Kids, like I said, they want to play with costumes. Did you see what those kids were doing? They were putting the outfits on. They were taking the outfits off. They were trying different combinations. That's what kids like to do when they play with Barbie dolls. That's one of the best things about Barbies is you get a constantly changed outfit. Do you know how cool it is when I get, a Cinderella doll, then, she's all dressed up. She looks like Cinderella. And then she's hanging out with Belle and Snow White. And hey, you swap dresses. You get to see what Cinderella would look like in Snow White's dress. You get to see what Belle would look like in Cinderella's dress. It's fun. It's dress up. That's something that little girls love to do, and there's nothing wrong with little girls loving to play with Barbie dolls and loving to play dress up. Now, as far as trying to do this whole swap thing, because Barbies are typically for girls. They're pink. They're in the girl section. When, they come in shipments and they're on the boxes, they're labeled girl toys. There is nothing wrong with the fact that Barbie is geared toward more feminine audience, because typically in the history of humanity, since Barbie has been around, they have more people that buy them for their daughters than for their sons, because it's something that girls are more interested in boys. That's not an crazy thing. That's also not a bad thing that girls tend to gear towards Barbies as compared to boys. Like I said earlier in this video, most of the boys that I knew that played with toys, they liked Legos, they liked cars, they liked that. You want me to sit down and play with Legos? Okay, I'll build a house for my Barbie, for my action figure, but me sitting there trying to build stuff out of Legos, that is, that's not something I'm interested in. I'll get bored immediately. My stepdaughter, she's the exact opposite. She doesn't really like playing with dolls. She loves building things. I think it has to do with, my boyfriend's an engineer. She has those genes from him where she wants to build things like her dad. She likes to build things. And then she loves Legos. I buy her a doll. She's not going to play with it. She's going to go play with Legos. And that's freaking fine. You find out what kids like. Like, some kids don't even like to play with toys. They like to go play sports. They like to go play with the skateboard. They like to go ride their bike. Some kids don't even care about toys, those kind of toys, like, sport kinds of toys. All they want to do is, watch TV or play video games. So it honestly depends on the child, but when we're talking about children that specifically play with Barbie dolls, and like I said, I've never encountered a little boy that would play with Barbie dolls with me when I was little. Never once in my entire life have I ever found a guy that's willing to play Barbie with me. Never, except for my father, because he had to, and my dad only did it, a couple times because I told him he was playing with them wrong. He said, he laughs whenever he tells his story. He's like, I went to go play with you and you yelled at me. He's like, you were like 2 years old and you yelled at me that I was playing with Barbies wrong. Because apparently my father doesn't know how to play with Barbies. And I can kind of still remember this, a few instances when he tried. It's just like, he doesn't know how to play with Barbies. It's just something that you either, for a child's logic, you either know how to do or you don't. Apparently my dad didn't know how to do it. My mom did, my dad didn't. Again, who are Barbies usually for? Oh yeah, that's right, girls. If a little boy wants to play with Barbies, great, congratulations for him. He probably wants to play with them because, hey, dressing up Barbies and, playing dress up with Barbies is fun. And also because they come out with cool stuff. Astronaut Barbie, Dr. Barbie, Star Trek Barbie, Star Wars Barbie, medieval Barbie where you have the knights and the shining armor and they come with, like, the cool sword that when you hit things, it makes noises. They have, like, cool horses that you get to play with them on. They have, cool castle dream houses stuff. So it's... I was always baffled why little boys didn't want to play with Barbies because of how cool they were. But, I get it. Times are changing. I understand that times are changing and it's going to this complete crazy wokeness. I don't get it. I don't understand why we have to take things and say, oh, well, this is usually for girls. We've made plenty of money off of Barbie in the past 60 years on marketing to girls, but now let's change up everything and let's market it to boys, which even though this was still a very feminine commercial, all the gender-neutral Barbies, they were still very feminine. For being, gender neutral. That's still a very feminine take on gender neutrality. Again, they just came out with the David Bowie Barbie doll. Okay, cool. David Bowie, androgynous? Why don't they say that? Why do they say gender neutral? Why don't they just say androgynous? Do you know how cool that word sounds? Do you know kids are trying to learn how to read and write at this age? They say what between under 10 years, 9 and 10, under 9 and 10 years old. Okay, androgynous Barbie, and then market it like, oh, here's this Barbie where it looks like a rock star. Here's every different version of a rock star it could be. Yeah, you could be David Bowie. You can also be Stevie Nicks. You can be Jimi Hendrix. Go, do stuff like that where it's got cool costumes, and you can be a little rock star. That sounds like cool. But you know what? They just want to do this thing and make it as woke as possible because times are changing and we need kids to be comfortable within their own bodies, and we need to help them learn how to identify themselves. You know what? I'm in my 20s and I'm just barely, being, coming to the evolution of, oh my gosh, I'm a grown-up now, I'm not this age anymore. Again, when I was a kid, I identified as Cinderella. Now it's like I finally am at a place in my life where, I'm not embarrassed, or I guess I was never really embarrassed, but, I don't have to go and be, in fear of, getting teased because I'm the weird Star Wars girl anymore. No, now it's, a badge of honor, whereas before it was, something that people used to call me to put me down, and now I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm Anna, that Star Wars girl. I'm completely comfortable with that now, whereas, elementary school, middle school, high school, kids would just, bully the living shit out of me because, like, oh, you're that weird girl that loves Star Wars, and then, kids will say the meanest damn things, and it was frustrating, but anyway, as, a grown-up, and I know I'm still, the beginning of my life, kids change a lot. You think I want to still be dressing up like Cinderella every day like I was when I was 3? No! Hell no! You can't get me to wear a dress. That is not something I want to do. I like pants with pockets. Why don't they do that? Why don't they make Barbie clothes that have pockets in them? I don't know. But that would be cool. I would like that. Oh, look, here's the new Barbie thing where you get a cell phone, you get to put thing in your pocket. But whatever. This is just, it's ridiculous. Again, it's like Hasbro came out with Miss Monopoly one week. Mattel said, hold my beer. Hold my beer, Hasbro. I'm gonna one-up you right now with this wokeness. Wokeness in the house right now with this gender-neutral Barbie. They could have done something cool. Here's the Game of Thrones line of Barbie, the medieval adventure, where this one doll can turn into, the princess, the prince, the dragon, the evil king, the witch, the wizard. It could change into every single character in Game of Thrones, and it's just one doll. Wow, wouldn't you think that'd be cool? Kids can play the ultimate game of dress up. Parents, it's like how many dolls in one? Great deal. But no. Instead they want to get woke, and it sucks because I really don't want to see a company like Mattel go out of business. I guess I'm, invested in the company that it used to be because, I grew up loving Barbie dolls. I played with Barbie dolls, every day of my freaking childhood. So, I don't want them to make decisions like this because, okay, they have kind of, whoever came up with this idea where it's like, let's make a doll where you can change their hair and have it, let's release it with all these different, outfits. That person is smart. The person's like, let's make it gender neutral and let's make a statement to the world. It's like, that person, you need to find another person. You need to find somebody that doesn't go creepily and watch kids, but goes and says, okay, well, we did this research to make this Barbie look like every, here, when you saw the images that had all the different faces, let's make it look as generic as possible for every single ethnicity. Why don't you go and make a wig? Every single hairstyle you can imagine. And I mean, it's kind of like Sims. When you're playing Sims and they have all these different hairstyles, you're gonna go pick, what hairstyle you want. Give little kids the ultimate, okay, here's every single, short hairstyle for boys, a masculine hairstyle. Let's do every single, version of that. And then, we'll come out with that set. Here's the ultimate wig edition for, these little gender neutral Barbies. These androgynous Barbies is what I should say. Here's every single character outfit. Here you go. It's like a mix and match. I've used Legos before. Oh, you want to go get this? Okay, Legos. You build your own Legos at, the Lego store. Here's this head. You get this outfit. You get this one. You get this. There you go. Build your own freaking Barbie. Wow. Come on. But no, then instead they want to get woke and go broke. And it's frustrating. And there's so many more stories that are coming out about this. I didn't want to cover it initially because I'm like, my heart hurts. I like you, Mattel. It's like that moment in Star Wars where it's like, to Obi-Wan, to Anakin, you are the chosen one! Like, come on! I loved you! I loved you! And you did this! Mattel, I don't want to leave you there, on, most of our burning from the lava, but, I might have to, Mattel. But anyway, everyone, let me know what you thought about this whole fiasco in the comments below. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay too. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click that little bell. That way you get notifications when I do other videos and live streams. And until next time, everyone, have a great rest of your day. And may the Force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. Hey everyone, if you want to send me some mail that'll open up on a live stream, go ahead and send it to Anna, that Star Wars girl, or TSWG for short, at P.O. Box number 28171, Santa Ana, California, 927998171. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.